What a time to be alive. It is really something out here, ain't it? I mean, you got Armageddon kicking off, and at the same time, we are finally out here living like the Jetsons. I mean, we have been for quite some time, but with the developments, the recent developments in AI, and with these robots that can now walk around in your house and do your chores for just $400 a month. These are some really interesting times that we're living in. And so, when the doomsday naysayers start running around talking about how the sky is falling and everything is doomed, I think about things like Neo, that little household robot, and it gives me hope because with all of these conversations that we're having here in the Garden of Evolution, in the Joy Well, about gender roles and breaking free from the prison of unexamined, imposed gender rigidity in all of our lives. I am so encouraged to see developments like this because, for a long time now, women have been saying, get somebody else to do it. you know, for all of these men who are insistent that a woman must come into their lives to do their cooking and their cleaning and their household management, and who must be their personal assistants to help them get their businesses off of the ground and be that energizer bunny workhorse behind the scenes for them at all times. Now we can finally come to a place together as men and women where the men can give their household chores to something else, to a robot. They can invest in this robot and have it do all of their household chores so that they no longer need to go out into the world and attempt to acquire wives or long-term girlfriends or women. They no longer have to go out and go through all of the rigmarole of going out on dates and avoiding paying for things in order to have someone to take care of their responsibilities. Now you are gonna have to pay for Neo. You is gonna have to pay for that. But you no longer have to enslave another human being in order to manage your household. So maybe this will actually lead to an enhancement in the ways that men and women interact with one another. What do you think? You think that's actually gonna happen? You think that men, not all of them, but a critical mass of them, a significant number of them, are going to now say, "Wow, there is this thing that can do all of the things or most of the things that I've been looking for a woman to do. Now I am freed up. I can just get this robot to do my domestic services, and I don't have to impose that upon a woman who's not interested in being a household servant. I can now dedicate my time and my energy. I can choose to invest now in actually developing a relationship with a woman that is authentic, where I will choose to see eye to eye with her and actually learn how to be this woman's companion and to make her mine without making her my household servant." How many men you think can actually do that? I know. I just thought that it was interesting when I saw that, and it's interesting. What is it? I think that they made the height of Neo. Neo's typical height is like 5'6" or 5'7". And I heard a couple of guys talking about it like, yeah, you wouldn't want a robot walking around your house that's bigger than you, because the idea is that people are already suspicious of AI or of this advanced technology of these robots walking around their homes. So it would be unnerving to have this machine walking around able to do all of these things that is towering over you. And excuse me, and that could potentially lead to a physical mishap, with a machine that's taller and maybe stronger than you. So they chose to make it the typical height of a woman. the average height of a woman so that it would be less intimidating to anybody who's not 5'6" or below. Now, I recently wrote a blog post about this, about all of the labor within a household and within marriages, long-term relationships between heterosexual men and women that tends, not always, tends to fall upon the shoulders of women. We have heard these, or at least I have heard these stories ad nauseum about how even in households where the woman works full time, excuse me, most of the domestic labor, the child care, the executive, functioning, the planning, the coordinating rides for the children back and forth to their activities, different things that they have to do, grocery shopping, making the grocery list, doing the household inventory to decide what needs to be purchased and what needs to be managed and maintained. All of those kinds of things typically fall on the shoulders of women. And you have a lot of men out there who have started to become aware of this. And, me being in some ways the ultimate optimist, I started out doing research, hoping to see that with all of this pandering on the internet, with all of these men talking about having modern relationships and getting therapy and wanting to be better partners, becoming more aware of all of the ways in which labor within the household and within relationships, the stuff that helps to maintain relationships and cause them to grow. I seem to be becoming, some men, they're talking like they're becoming more aware, but the statistics, the numbers seem to still show that when the rubber meets the road, especially when children enter the picture and the work really gets hard, that work tends to fall, for the most part, back on the shoulders of the woman. And, that's because, once again, it's because of these sacred cows that I'm coming to take away from y'all. This idea that we have been indoctrinated with, that women are the natural nurturers. People are naturally inclined to do whatever is in their self-interest. Unfortunately, we have been programmed as women. There is heavy programming of the genders, of the sexes, to make us embrace certain things. It's the reason why people talk so much about the male loneliness epidemic. It's not because men don't have the capability of developing friendships and community and intimate partnerships wherein they fully engage in intimate connection. They have the capability to do it, but they're socialized in so many ways against it. They are in a lot of ways violently socialized against it. In the same way, women are intensely socialized towards, indoctrinated to be nurturers. They're indoctrinated to be caregivers. But the good news is that human beings still have agency. We still have our brains and our own inner conscience. We still have our own inner compass. And if you're willing to turn down the noise, if you're willing to face your fear of not being accepted, being criticized for being outside the norm, if you're willing to be a real renegade and not give a shit about how you've been programmed, if you're willing to fully embrace your sovereignty as a human being, you can opt out. You can opt out as a woman of being another person's personal servant. But here's what it's going to require. And this is why a lot of people are scared to walk away from the paradigm of the woman as household servant. Because it could mean that you never marry. It could mean that you never have a traditional long-term relationship with a man, because the privilege of household service, the perk of what men get from women, of what they've been taught to expect from women, the perks are often so great that even when they know it's wrong, even when they know that overfunctioning is grinding you into dust, they're just going to look the other way, many of them, because they are unevolved and they have been taught to believe that it is a woman's work to grind herself into dust on behalf of everyone else. And ain't it something? Ain't it something that we have gotten so far intellectually, technologically, to the point that, yeah, like I said, we are living like the Jetsons. It is possible, if you can afford it, if you have the means, if you have the hustle, it is possible to have a walking, talking, executive functioning robot in your home, and yet such a large percentage, not all, but such a large percentage of men still expect a woman to operate as a household service device. How ironic is that? Hey, good people, before you run out of this video, hold on. Mark this on your calendar. Put it somewhere in your phone. On January 7th, 2026, I will be featured on the Funky Dineva Live show here on YouTube, talking about my new book, Fuck Submission, Ending the Gender Wars for Good. The book is going to launch that day, and I'm going to have a special sale for everyone who is ready to get it that day. So get ready. Join me in the Garden of Evolution, and let's do the damn thing. This is Inanna Joy, sharing a few of the things I've learned and some things I'm still learning with you. Thanks for stopping by my Garden of Evolution, where we examine what it means to grow, to live, and to love through life's joy, pain, sunshine, or rain. In the Garden of Evolution, you will follow your bliss to your purpose, you will align with your joy, and live well.